So today we're reviewing
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Spider-Man Far From Home it really picks up right after where Endgame ends, so spoiler alert for Endgame. You find out that Iron Man's dead in this movie, but basically, what are your initial thoughts about Spider-Man Far From Home?
I mean, going in, I was not like hyped or too excited to really see it. The only reason obviously it's an MCU movie. We see them all. It's it's the first movie following Avengers Endgame, which is like basically the climax of this entire universe. So
Apparently,
for me,
this is the end of Phase 3 of this.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually going in.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, basically, my expectations were not that high. I just wanted to kind of see just basically what was going to be like what was the world's view a little bit, like following the events of Endgame, and there was definitely some cool stuff in it. Like I'll get into more specifics, but I definitely thought it was a pretty good movie. I didn't think it was great, but I definitely didn't dislike it. I just think it was right on par with the last Spider-Man: Homecoming. So it didn't. I don't know. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, this is their non-spoiler review because really it's hard to talk about any of this movie without going into spoilers. But my initial thoughts, I kind of just put this right at the first the Spider-Man Homecoming, the prequel to this. Not the prequel, just the one before this. I put it right on that. I just think it's very average. I mean, it didn't blow me away. And there were certain people...
movie.
Yeah, it's a solo movie, but I just thought it was a little underwhelming. And I thought certain things were good about it, and it was definitely not bad, like you said. It was all right, and that's really my best way to put it. It's above average. I mean, I just put it right around average to me. I just think it was all right. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. I mean, that's the best way to put it, honestly.
For me, the positives I think are definitely some of the action sequences. The CGI looked really good. This time there was no bad CGI in my opinion. I thought everything looked believable, and I never had any issues with that. So I thought the special effects were good. There was a lot of humor, which is kind of there was a lot of humor that worked for me. And then a lot of humor that didn't really work for me, really. I mean, it's coming out, it's just like the last one, it's coming at you a mile a minute a lot. So, I mean, obviously not everything's going to land. It's just a lot of jokes and stuff going on. And honestly, some of it might have taken away from some of the fight scenes, which I'll get into my negatives. And I feel like my other positive would have to be, just kind of a spoiler, but I won't say it now, but something that happens in the beginning of the film, I really liked seeing a different side of the last of Avengers Endgame affecting different people. There was definitely some cool stuff there. Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's funny now that you know what happened, but it's pretty crazy just to think. Like, I liked how like the world was like reacting to stuff. How like certain people like it's not. It's. I mean, if you see Avengers Endgame, they kill Thanos and they win, but like just the fact that people that had disappeared came back. It's just the way that they play that out and like show things in this film in the beginning is pretty. I thought it was pretty cool, and yeah. Other than that. I think that was basically it. I mean, the acting was fine. There was no, yeah.
I mean, the visual effects are really good, and the acting is all great. I mean, it's all good for the most part. I mean, I can believe most of the characters, but the villain of the movie, I'm not going to say who it is good. I don't think it's as good as the villain in the first one, but the overall villain of this movie I definitely did like. I'm not saying who it is, and I mean, the story was good, and I feel like the action was better than the first one, but it still didn't blow me away. Not all of it. There is one scene towards the end that I thought was really good. It didn't last very long, but I definitely thought there was a better action, more memorable action scenes in this one than the last one, in my opinion.
As far as new characters go, the Mysterio character, which we'll get into in the spoilers, I thought what they did with him was pretty cool with some of his powers. I thought that was actually another positive for me. It was definitely a surprise. I can't really talk about it too much now. But I thought his character was pretty cool. Some of the stuff that he could do with his powers.
The Mysterio.
Yeah, I definitely like that. Like what he could do there. There's negatives. That kind of reminded me of Doctor Strange and some of the trippy stuff that goes on there. But as far as my negatives go, so I thought some of the comedy definitely didn't land, but I thought most of it did. I'd probably say 85% of it landed for me. And
yeah, I think most of it landed.
Yeah, and there was the humor didn't land for me. It's not like I was like moving around my seat like all ticked off, like why was that line in there? It's just like, I mean, not everyone's be like laughing out loud like for the Thor snake scene, every single joke. I mean, there's only certain characters that can do that, and I thought it was fine. There was definitely some storyline. I thought it was kind of slow paced for me a little bit. I was gonna say that like it starts out like the first like 5. I guess I don't want to say spoilers, but it starts out kind of like really quick out of the gate, and then it just kind of like rolls off a little bit, and I'm only gonna mention this like quickly so you can talk more about it for your negative. Is the whole like you see from the trailer, Peter Parker liking MJ because I'm pretty sure at Homecoming I only saw it once or twice. I didn't think that they were into each other, and then all of a sudden when this starts, you just had to assume that something happened between
No
the
time
last
passed.
one and this one, that he's all of a sudden in love with her, and that just I feel like that just like obviously I know that MJ's that's the comic character, like they fall in love with each other, but they kind of forgot to like have that moment happen. Like if you're gonna go that route, then maybe lay some seeds in Homecoming to like show like maybe they do like each other. But the only line that she said to him was, like, "Hey nerds," and she was like this weird that's just kind of overall in this part of the universe. They've definitely effed up the lore of MJ
Continuity.
because
Yeah.
MJ not only it's not about the race being switched, it's the characters like build or makeup. Like MJ in the comics is what that first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man does. That's what MJ is. She's like in love with the football player, like the jock, and then like that's how the storyline goes in the comics, I'm pretty sure. That's always kind of been a drag on the last two movies for me a little bit. The fact they've kind of messed it up a little bit.
The negative for me is that there's a lot of confusion in this movie, and I know there's
Which
a
that
lot
can
of
be a
stuff
good
which
thing.
I know people know I'm talking about that is confusing at first, and then you understand. But there's things still after this movie that don't make any sense that I can't talk about right now that are still confusing and make no sense. Now, someone could explain it to me, but there's a lot of things you understand later that are confusing and you understand them, but there's some things that still don't make any sense to me. And it's really, there's no other way to put it other than I have to go out and talk about it in spoilers, because talk about it at all, it's so many spoilers, so I can't even talk about it. But that's one negative that I can only talk about in spoilers. But
I'm pretty sure I actually just rechecked it. Our Spider-Man Homecoming scores, I gave Spider-Man Homecoming a 7.5 out of 10, and you gave it an 8 out of 10. And for me personally, I really feel this almost the same exact way. Like each one has different things that I liked about it, and both ones I enjoyed. I didn't dislike either one of them. I just think that they're just both like fine. And as far as MCU movies goes, that's what we're comparing these to. It's in the MCU. I think it's definitely fits probably within the middle tier of Marvel movies for me personally. It's not nowhere near the upper ones, and it's nowhere near the bottom ones for me.
yeah, the bottom
Like
one.
if I'm comparing this to Captain Marvel, this is a masterpiece. I guess honestly, I feel really similar to the last one. Obviously, like I said, there's different things. Like it fluctuates a little bit, like with the things that I liked in each one. But I feel like I'd have to give this movie the same score of a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave Spider-Man Homecoming an 8, and like I said, this one I feel does have, the action is better, I feel, in this movie, but I think the first one, I like the villain more, and I think that it was just a better overall movie, and I don't mean to just compare them, but I just felt very underwhelmed with this film and how everything went, and just, I think I might have just hyped it up a little more, hearing what people were saying, hearing someone say one moment was like, holy crap, oh my gosh,
Same.
but I don't even remember what that scene was. I mean, I might have hyped it up a little more, but I'll probably have to give this a 7.5 as well. Would you give it a 7.5?
Yep.
Because I think the first one, the first one has so many memorable scenes that I was like, oh my gosh, it's a really good scene. But this one, I just didn't think there was any of those scenes. And like I said, I'm so confused about certain things after this movie. Even not the things that you probably think that you're supposed to be confused of in the middle, things that I still don't understand.
Yeah, and honestly, I just can't give it an 8, either one of them, because I feel like if I give it an 8, that takes away from movies that I've given 8s. Like, I feel like 8, 9, 10, to be in that tier, that needs to be, like, above, like, not above average, just 5 average for me, but just, like, really, like, I'd see it like, over and over again. I don't think I need to see this movie again in theaters.
No.
Like, I mean, I'd see it again if, like, a friend asked to go or something like that. Like, I'd do that. I was going to say, a negative that we both had, I think, that we can't talk about now is in the spoilers, so stay tuned for that. Also, stick around. There are some extra credits, after credit scenes. We won't say what they are because obviously
One is
MCU
good,
movies
one's
you
awful.
get. So stick around. The first
I don't know
one,
who that made excited.
the first one I was kind of intrigued. And it's a huge
It's a
cliffhanger.
major end credit scene.
But the second one, it goes from like major to what the F.
The first one is like that might be
sets up a
the
movie.
most crucial mid credit scene of any movie.
Yeah, so this was our non-spoiler review of Spider-Man Far From Home, the first Marvel movie after Avengers Endgame.
The end of Phase 3.
Yeah, we both gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I feel like saying... Or wait, what's the next movie after this?
I don't even know.
Is it Black Panther 2?
I
Well,
don't
actually,
even know.
you know what? Never mind. They're gonna at Comic-Con or whatever event. I think that's what they were saying. They haven't actually released. There could be a movie coming out this year for all we know, because they always say untitled film, untitled film. I think now that this movie's out, they're gonna announce that at some panel. So I'm sure we got some more movies coming. Thanks for watching our non-spoiler review, and we'll see you guys in the spoilers discussion. Bye, guys.